It's Gaming with the Guys, and I'm Gaming Greg, and this is Bungles After Dark. This is where we get together, have a conversation about all things Bushido, at least at this point in time. We might have some other Bungles about other things, but tonight is Bushido, and more importantly, it is our discussion about the Shadowwing Clan themes. We've had our kind of thing where we've done the top 3 for Temple, and then we've done Temple themes. We've done KKZ top 3 with our good friend Joe, and now we're gonna do those themes. So to help me with my themes, because as we know, I love playing the game, but I'm not the sharpest katana in the set, as it were. So to help me along and to make sure that I do things like, turn things on, turn things off, start the recorder, all that kind of stuff, we're going to bring in my partner in crime, Gaming Jason.
Well, that's a good thing that we made sure to hit the record button this time.
This time.
We don't ask about the last time. It was lost to the voids of the mysteries. There's for the stories that will be passed along to your grandson.
We're part-time professionals, so we may I hit the record button light with gusto this time around, so made sure it worked. I think I figured out what I did wrong, but we'll talk about that later. Right. So it's good to have you here. My grandson's quiet, so that's good. So I try not to rile him up with my voice here. And then, because we need a little more of an expert opinion on ninjas and all things Bushido, we're going to bring in...
I'm the expert opinion on ninjas because I play it at least in the meta,
kind of, yeah, okay, sure. But you are not a grandmaster. You're a grandmaster runner-up. So should something happen to a grandmaster, you would take over his responsibilities.
Oh, damn, that's how it works. Oh, okay, yes. Never mind. All of a sudden, I've got my own assassination mission.
You got your own assassination mission. So maybe we should warn Grandmaster Cody. Oh, he's come armed. He's heard it.
That was really starting to get heavy, from all that weight of winning.
Okay. Oh, that is brutal.
It is.
Winning is such a chore for someone, But we're glad to have you here to get your expert opinion on a faction that neither you or me really play.
Expert.
Bunny ears expert. Yeah.
Expert as when he spends a lot of money, so he has to kind of see what all the factions do.
If you got them all, you might as well play them.
Exactly. So, it's like Pokemon. I got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all.
Now I'm in the process of painting them all.
That is much better than me. I just kind of look at them as raw metal in pieces. So what's better than one Grandmaster, but our special guest, another Grandmaster, and that would be Master Enos. Hello, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having you on again. We're happy to have you. We've already kind of tipped the hat that I bungled it.
It's okay.
We bungled it.
We saved the bungle before it got really catastrophic into like hour 1 and been like, I
was on a good roll though. I really was.
It's all right.
It is what it is. So we're glad to have you here. And I hear that, and one of the reasons why I have you on, not just to have you for a discussion, because that actually it's great to be able to pick your mind, but you have some potentially bonus content that people may or may not know about.
Yeah, I figured you'd be doing the theme list, so I thought we might talk about the one that everybody knows about, the Bleeding Moon theme. And then obviously there are more themes that everybody has guessed about because it's fairly obvious what comes after Bleeding Moon.
Yeah.
So we might talk about those a little bit after at the end.
Yes. So for those of you who are used to our 2-hour chats, we may be going over that, but hopefully not. All right. So because not only that, but as we were talking earlier, that totally got deleted. Master Enos will be coming over for Gen Con, and his schedule is cram-packed even before he comes across a pond over to fabulous Indianapolis. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, I'm going to be having, every Gen Con, because I haven't been to a Gen Con since the last one in Milwaukee, which was like, I can't remember if that was like 90 something, 90, had to be after Jason was born. So 94 95, 96, somewhere around there. Anyway, I haven't been to Indianapolis. I try to avoid those gigantic 60,000 gamer crowds. Instead, what I do when I need to get stuff from Gen Con, like the new releases or the exclusives and all that, I send my ninja shoppers, because they go in and they go and stealth buy, proxy buy for me.
It's a great system, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any insights on what's going to be in the booth, Master Enos, that way I can tell my shoppers what to get. Because I know at Adepticon, the GCT booth was absolutely swarmed.
I'm not gonna lie, we should take responsibility for that and our awesome promotionness that we sold everything out.
We can't take the responsibility for that. There was some really good stuff there.
Well, there's that too.
That's the fastest I've ever dropped a couple $100 at Adepticon.
I don't know. I've seen you drop 100. I've seen faster sometimes.
Well, really no, I mean like walk through the doors straight to GCT, boom, money gone.
Yeah. Okay. There's that.
Yeah, unless you're getting lunch first, of course, because it's obviously fantastically expensive at conventions.
Nobody gets lunch at Adepticons. They just get booze. We survive on the calorie count of our alcohol.
Oof, no.
Yeah, I always carry a 6-pack.
All right. So, talking ninja shoppers leads me, obviously, with the wonderful segue into talking about ninja themes. We drew straws, and I am going to get to go first, talking about the fabulous... let's see if I get this done right. Good, I didn't turn us off. Yay. Assassination mission. This is one of these missions that I don't see played that often, but I'll be honest, our meta for ninjas or KKZ is relatively small, with Gaming Jason playing them on occasion, and we have our buddy at the store, Brian. He plays them to the point where we didn't like him anymore. And to be honest, he had them down, and we kind of talked about
art form.
Yeah, he does, and he plays skirmish mission generally. So being able to look at the other two themes that are available was kind of nice to see. He's tried them once or twice, but his heart is really kind of set on the skirmish mission. He enjoys that one a lot. But that doesn't mean that there isn't certain things you could do with these other themes. So.
I like Assassination mission, at least in practice. I've tried using it a couple times. Also, I just don't have the ninja library until recently to maybe try to make it work.
That's true.
But compared to just the other two, it definitely to me feels like the low man on the totem pole. But I mean, it's still giving out a death sentence marker is pretty huge. It's just you only get the one.
You get the one. Well, they got to make it work. It means you got to make it worth it.
Oh yeah.
I think the three mission themes sort of suffered from. When we wrote them, there weren't many ninja models. So we had to allow them all in all the themes. So you essentially just pick the best theme because there's no restrictions on what models you can have.
Yeah.
So like every other theme, you've got to balance the restrictions against the benefits. And in this one, it's just benefits. So I think it was always going to happen that people were going to work out a best one or a most favored one. Then there'd be a niche one, and then there'd probably one that didn't get used. But it's all learning experience, and then the future ones all have good restrictions on, so it means that you have to make that balanced choice.
There we go. See, so now that's and this is why we love having guests on that know more stuff than us, which is, except for Gary Master Cody, is just about every guest we've had on.
Well, I know the super unreleased theme. That's the one that I always played.
Yeah.
It was the move your models around the painting desk and never paint them.
Yeah.
I'm a master at that one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I win that tournament every time. But, so Assassination Mission, and I have kind of a way that I'm going to approach it. Now, whether it's right or wrong, feel free to say. But I'm kind of, I'll be honest, if I were playing Shadow Wind, I wouldn't mind taking this to the list that I'm going to run to a tournament, but I don't know how well it would do. It's either going to win big or it's going to fail really epically, which, again, that's how ninjas work sometimes, too. The dice rolls could go against you, and it's a huge, with playing with as few models as ninjas typically play with, because they're all very strong, you're always on that razor's edge, and if you forget something, which that's probably why I tend to stay away from ninjas, because I forget things on a regular basis. They could be very unforgiving. That said, let's talk about the assassination mission really quick. Gaming Jason's already kind of given away the first bullet point on the theme, which is during deployment, choose an enemy model, it gains a death sentence marker. That's great. So you pick the one figure that you want to try to take out the most, which would make sense in assassination mission, and they're going to get that death sentence marker, which means you get one extra die to either your melee pool, range pool, and you get +1 to your weapon strength. So it's really good at helping you take out a model. Now again, it is a death sentence marker. It's not like the Imperial theme where it stays on, which some would argue that's kind of broke. So that means you got to really kind of take advantage of it fast, or your opponent has to go around bearing that weight and realizing that that target is marked for death, as it were. Second bullet point. During the starting phase, choose an enemy model when a friendly ninja model targets or is targeted by that model, or a model with a death sentence marker. The ninja model gains Fearless until the action is resolved. So, something I always find, and this is kind of important for, again, if you're playing against an opponent who has a lot of fear on there, ninjas have bravery or they have courage, and you have one soulless model that doesn't worry about it, and I think Katsumi is fearless.
Katsumi has courage.
He has courage. So
has courage as well.
Yeah. So you're still having to make that roll to try to get into combat with them. And again, with ninjas being limited models, you really don't want to lose that activation. So being able to say one target and also a death sentence target, so some other target, you're fearless to them, that really helps solve that problem of losing it, having that risk of losing activations. Because ninjas, Shadowwind really wants to be able, if they're going to go after a target, they want to make sure that they're going to go after that target and take it down. So having the ability to be fearless against a particular thing and then shuffling it around to fit your needs is great. Again, it's at the starting phase you have to do it, but you should be lining up your kills in advance. So, third bullet point. Before the start of the game, you may swap an event card you have recruited for any event card costing the same rice or less. Think of it as poor man's order for battle. I could switch around events to fit the needs of my opponent or the mission. It's very handy. I find that's probably actually really, really nice to be able to do that. Last but not least, it's the one theme ability that is pretty much across all three of the themes. In the starting phase, double the pass tokens the warband generates, which for me is going to be very important for what I'm trying to do, especially on turn one. So it's always handy just to be able, again, you have fewer models, being able to have more pass tokens, so that way you can try to line up the kill and try to have your enemy exhaust themselves is always very key. What could be permitted in this list? Ninja, Ronin Ninja, and Karapen. So pretty much everything. Now, this will be a good question for you, Master Enos. Is the new, and I didn't look at the card, I forget what the new model for the ninja is, the Nekru or the...
Oh, the Moon Lion?
The Moon Lion. Nico, thank you. Would he be allowed in these lists?
He will be allowed if you take a Bleeding Moon Ninja.
As long as you take a Bleeding Moon Ninja. Perfect. So okay.
He's not a ninja, Ronin Ninja, or Carapan, but if you take a Bleeding Moon Ninja, that allows him into any theme.
Perfect. Okay. So that'll be good. So, and it's, as people love their Katsumi, you could, 9 times out of 10, you'd be able to take him. So that is very good. So what is my list? Well, let's first put up the crawler, and then we'll start looking at the cards. So my list is kind of crawling around there. I have broken tradition, and I do not have 4 models and a boatload of events. I instead, in my infinite wisdom, take that with a grain of salt, have gone with 5 models and 1 rice for 1 event. So we'll see how this goes. But I do have kind of a plan for it. So we'll see if my idea for my plan is actually a really good one. That's always iffy. So my first model in my list is Ghost. After talking with Joe, he was, I think, our top 3. That was our unanimous top 3 between me, Jason, and Joe when we talked about top 3s. And 23 points. And for what he does, he's my Swiss Army knife. He is my utility man. He could do whatever I need him to do. He could be wherever I need him. And that's what I'm going to need with this list, because my list is somewhat specialized. I have a theme, and he's the only one that doesn't fit into that specialization, but he will be able to do what I need him to do. I'll quickly run through his card. I think we covered it in top 3, but just for the sake of being thorough, I'm going to do it here. Melee pool 3, movement pool 4, range pool 3, and he has a key of 2/8. He has a Daisho, which is +1 melee strength, sidestep, defense 0, throw attack 0, armor 1, assassin, camouflage 2, dodge 1, fear 6, light-footed, soulless. Costs 23 rice. He has vitality, which is costs him 3 to use, instant, personal, can only use it once per turn, and apparition for 2 rice, have to be active, and it only affects himself. Vitality will give him that 1 extra activation counter, and apparition allows him to be moved 2 inches. Ooh, I got it right this time. Allows him to be moved 2 inches from his current location, but I could only use that key feat once per activation. Unique abilities, he could either be placed. This is the cool one, and this is what gives him the mobility that I need to be able to cover ground to support his colleagues. I can't believe I just said colleagues. It's like they're a business or something. That's weird.
All hanging out by the water cooler.
They're all hanging out by that water cooler, yeah. Hey, I think I'm going to go kill myself some Itsunagi tonight. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Place this model elsewhere. It gains flank and returns to play using those rules. So again, that's really good because you're not going to know where he's going to pop up. So if all of a sudden you realize he's way upfield, but all of a sudden someone's making a break for one of your back zones or idles, pop him out, pop him back in near there, and then he's helping support to kind of keep them off your back. Intangible, that's the other one he could choose as his unique ability during his activation. Allows him to get to people that think they're safe either behind other models or behind terrain pieces. He'll just float right through them and then stab them. So that's kind of cool. Last unique effect, while attempting to target this model, enemy models lose 6 sense. So really cool, because usually the only way you could target something that's camouflage at a range is by using 6 sense. Well, not Ghost. So all around,
forget about that.
Yeah. So all around, great guy. He is probably I don't want to say he's my utility man. He is going to support everybody in my list. And I think he's probably the most important figure in my list because of that. Now, what's my list good at? I'm Assassination mission, which means I need to kill things. I already kind of said I'm a little squeamish about death sentence because it takes 3 key at the starting phase to get rid of it. So pretty much, depending on what model you drop it on, you're gonna have to hit it turn 1, maybe turn 2, depending on what they do with their key. So the best way to take advantage of that, I felt, was play the range game. So I've gone high to hog on ranged models. So my next model after Ghost is GwtG, and I just went the wrong direction because everything's in alphabetical order. There he is. Whoa, there we go. So GwtG, he is the primary archer there. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There we go. So GwtG, he's a North Star Ninja, 22 rice, 3, 4. He's 3 melee, 4 movement, 3 range, 2/8 on key. It sounds really familiar, doesn't it? He has a knife, melee strength 0, sidestep 0, push defense 0. He has the Hanku, which is his ranged weapon, plus 1 range strength. He's a 5, 10, 15 range band, so really far. Pierce 3. Minimoto have to respect that. That's all I'm going to say. Reload 1. Armor 1, Assassin, Camouflage 2, Dodge, Light-footed. I like that he's light-footed because that way I could kind of move him in and out of cover and being able to take pot shots. So that's really fun. Key feat, Deadeye, which is 3 key, active, and personal, only affects him. He also has Mirage, 2 key, instant, special, and it's only once per turn. So let's go to the back of his card. Deadeye really quick until the end of the current activation. This model ignores cover and tiny modifiers to range attacks. So basically they're not getting, whether they're hiding behind something or they're really, really small, like Master Akari, I could still snipe them and not take any penalty to it. My only penalties really are moving and running, or if my opponent runs. The opposing player may not nominate a new target for this range attack, which means no bodyguard. Whoever I'm shooting, I'm shooting. Mirage, during enemy model's activation, in which it enters into base to base or targets this model with a range attack or key feat before a melee exchange begins, make an opposed key test against that model. If successful, place this model within 2 inches of its current location. The enemy model's activation is then considered resolved. It's nice. If I have the key and somebody's going to jump into him, I really don't want to be in hand-to-hand with just a knife. So having this option to be able to drop back and then they lose their activation and maybe I'm behind them and then take a shot at close range in their back, really kind of fun. Unique effects. At the start of this, and this is, I'll admit, I really do like his unique effects. At the start of this model's activation, choose the following. I could deploy a 50 millimeter base on the table in base to base with this model until the end phase. The area of this base is normal, blocking large terrain. So basically, I have my own smoke bomb. That's cool. Or when I do get somebody engaged with me and I don't want to be, and I can't use Mirage because they already got on top of me, this model gains Agile until the end of the activation. Hey, I'm just going to step back because I can get out of base to base, and then I'll shoot you. Now, this is also cool, too. When performing a ranged attack at long range, so again, he's looking to engage at long ranges. If this model would benefit from cover, which he should, relative to the target from a terrain element or is out of line of sight of its target, the target is surprised. So with Assassin, and the benefit of reducing their target number because they're surprised, makes them pretty effective. So I really like him because he has the range element. That means I can try striking targets. Oops, that's the wrong way. I could strike targets early and often. That's my goal is if I have something with Death Sentence, I'm pitching 4 dice, I'm getting extra damage. Do I get extra damage when I do range attacks with Death Sentence, or is it just melee? That's me trying to remember. I should probably get I don't have a phone out. Where is my phone? Whatever. Somebody's probably trying to call me. But the gist is I want to try to put some damage on somebody early and often. If I could take out that key model in turn 1, so much the better. Great against medium base bad guys or large base bad guys. Great against, and with his abilities, even against, I could snipe Master Akari on turn 1 if I really wanted to.
Sounds like good synergy. I think they're using the Death Sentence with the ranged. Death Sentence is any ranged, any damage roll. Sorry, so it will work with ranged.
So +2, I like that. So I'm rolling 2. I get +2. And the way that I roll damage rolls, for anybody who's seen our battle reports, you can understand how that works. Pierce 3 means.
Quick correction though for Deadeye, it won't stop bodyguard. What it stops is when your shot passes through the zone of control of a non-insignificant model, you can just choose that model to say hit. So you can't nominate another model against Deadeye, but you can still use bodyguard.
Okay. So thank you for that correction. So bodyguard still works, darn it. But yeah, okay. So that's good. That's still not bad. I'll take something out. I'm all for killing something. So this guy is kind of my main range threat. And again, with Pierce 3, I'm not worried about somebody's armor. If the target is heavily armored and has Death Sentence on it, I don't know, maybe like Minimoto Nico or Minimoto Yukio, who have armor 4, I'm not sweating it so much. I'm either dice even or dice +1 if they have a Death Sentence on them. So that's pretty cool. So that's what he's there for. Again, I don't want to engage if I can help it. I want to be able to use my bow as much as humanly possible. So he's one of my long range threats. As you're seeing the crawler, you've already got an idea of what my list is. But we're going to go into I did this in rice order, so we're going to stick with rice order. So my next model, this was one of my top 3s. Whoop, there we are. Kyohi. Sticking with the range theme, she's got the lightweight daggers. 357, melee range strength 0. That's all right because she has Hail of Steel. That's what it's all about, people. I get in close range. It's a lightweight weapon with those daggers. I throw Hail of Steel down, hit him with 3 daggers. Boom, boom, boom. I should be at close range. Worst case, I'm at medium range, needing 5s. If the target didn't run, so much the better. If I'm very lucky, I'm going to hit with all 3, and I'm going to have decent or high-level successes. At least that first throw should be high-level success, and then the other 2 should maybe be off by 1 or 2. So I have a really good chance of doing some good damage. And if I'm really good, I'm behind them. And then I get the assassin roll on it. So even better. Prediction, as we talk with Joe, prediction's really nice because that's a good way to force. It's oh my God, I'm forgetting everything.
It's a pseudo impetuous marker, effectively.
Impetuous marker. Thank you. It's one that you can do in the middle of the turn. You're forcing your opponent to figure out you're not getting to select the target, but you're forcing your opponent to pick something that's going to go first. So that way, you have a better idea of how to deal with it, or force him to do something he doesn't want to do in the timing that he doesn't want to do it in. So very nice. Kohi, just to run through it real quick, 20-point model, 20 rice model, long shadow ninja, 3 melee, 4 movement, 3 range, 2/8 on the key. Ninjato is the weapon with +1 melee strength, sidestep defense 0, sweep attack 0, daggers we just talked about. Armor 1, assassin, camouflage 2, light-footed, like having the light-footed, just to be able to get through. Resistance 1, it's nice. Hail of Steel we talked about, which is, I believe, 3? Yes, rapid fire 3, so I could do 3 range attacks in that current activation, so that's pretty cool. It costs 2 key, active, personal. Can't have somebody in base to base with you, which that should not be a problem. And you can only do it once a turn, thank God.
Okay, because that would just be,
Makes me sad.
Everybody just played ninjas at that point, and it's just like we're all playing Kyohi.
My only thing is eventually you got to run out of knives.
No.
Well, remember, you don't have to use the same weapon, so she can have hidden shurikens, she can have blind bombs, hallucinogen.
Yeah. Oh, blind bomb, rapid. Oh my God.
As long as you've got the events or the equipment to play, you can throw whatever you want with that.
Wow.
Random
and you
pocket
could target
stand.
whatever you want. You don't have to put everything on one target, and I could kill one. Now here's a really good question. So I have my Hail of Steel. I throw 2 daggers, kill a target, but then there's another one a little further away. Could I throw a blind bomb at him? Because I mix and match my different weapons?
It's 3 completely separate attacks, so you don't have to declare them at the start or anything. You do one at a time. And choose weapon is at the start of the attack thing, so you do that separately for each attack you make.
Yeah, I really hate ninjas. Oh my God. Prediction we've already kind of talked about, but that's just for how much it costs. It's 2 key active. And again, you get to, there's no range on it. You just pick, your opponent has to pick a model that's going to go next. And if that model can't go next for whatever reasons, then that's that. Unique effects, and this is really good because you can't use Hail of Steel when you're engaged with someone, so you could either pick to be agile, which allows you to move out of base to base, or evasive. So if I need to get around somebody to, I don't know, flip an idol, throw something at somebody's back, or do whatever, you could be evasive. So really kind of good, especially when the whole key to your whole thought process is, I'm doing ranged and I don't want to be pinned down. I don't want to do hand-to-hand combat if I can help it. And that, those unique effects really play into that. So that's my one we'll call it my close-in range threat. My other close-in range threat is the ubiquitous Ninja Ronin or Ronin Ninja Biku, who I just passed up. There they are. North Star Ninja, 18 rice. I like that cheap rice cost.
Cheap as you can get for ninjas, at least.
Cheap is pretty damn cheap. 3 melee pool, 4 movement, 3 range, 2/8 on the key. The Kurasi Garma. Oh man, I'm just butchering everything tonight. Is a +0 melee pool, chain weapon 1, size defense 0, push 0. Shuriken, that's the thing that I like. 357 range band, -1 on the strength. Thank goodness. But if you're playing ninja, you're like, Shuriken, lightweight, so I can run around and not have that. Shouldn't say run. I can move and not have a penalty for shooting. Armor 1, assassin, camouflage 2, evasive, so that's very nice. I could ignore zones of control. Jump up, really cool, and more light-footed. Yay. Key feats, which this actually is going to play into something because, again, if I'm shooting people, I want to kind of turn people around, and Biku's kind of really good at kind of being in the mix of that, especially her weapon is kind of nice. Distraction, which is a two key active. You pick a target, 6-inch, and then you turn them around.
If they fail, target. It's a key challenge test.
You change that model's facing, so that's a great way to either line up an assassination attack for someone else in your party, or just have them turn their back to something. So really kind of good there, especially if you do that. As long as you're the active player, you could do it. If my timing is right, I'm the active player, but I haven't chosen an active model. I turn the model around, and then something else that was in its front arc becomes the active model. Now it's in the back arc. They would get the surprise. Correct? My timing right on that?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So I think distraction is one of the sort of defining key feats of the faction. Like that's what powers the faction. You can usually get back arcs and things with flank, or just outmaneuvering, or turning them with one melee and then getting an assassination. But with distraction, it means that you've got a good chance of just doing an alpha strike where you're also getting assassin. And assassin is where ninjas shine.
Oh yeah, they definitely do shine there. And then we've already talked about Hail of Steel and Kyohi, so I don't think we need to go into that anymore. It's just really, really good. Shuriken. If an attack with this weapon is successful and the individual dice result, this is a unique effect. Dice results of the damage roll are the same number. This weapon gains Pierce 3 for that damage roll. Yay! With Assassin, that means you have an extra chance of really getting those doubles too.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's even worth choosing a lower damage result that is a double.
Yeah.
So if you roll 3-3-5, just get rid of the 5, take the double 3.
Yep.
And that's probably going to do more damage.
Yeah, especially if you're on the success level and you're up against a high armor target. Absolutely. That's really kind of good. The other thing that I like about Biku is that so that's just the Shuriken. Now every ninja has their 2 unique effects that they choose at the model's activation. She gets the Kurosai, which is a range attack. It's a medium up to 3 inches, lightweight, and it's sweep attack. So if I need to knock something down, I could do that. Which is really kind of good. It's a sweep attack at range, so great. I'm not going to do any damage, but I'm going to put something on its butt. Now they're prone. I can either get away from it, or I can shoot it, or whatever. A ghost comes in and stabs it while it's down.
It could be one of your Hail of Steels as well.
Yep. Or this model gains a move boost to 2 until the end of the activation, which may come in handy because distraction is kind of limited on range, but that would be when they're active. So if you're kind of setting it up for somebody else to be the active, it's not going to come in handy. But extra mobility is never a bad thing. So Biku kind of fills that same role as Kyohi, except a little differently, and has a little different mix of feats, which I really like, to kind of keep things there. But again, the main goal of this list is range, and between daggers and shuriken, you really could put the hurt on with rapid fire, with Hail of Steel on both of them. So you have those in 2 different spots, and it's really kind of scary. So that's 4 models. I said I was taking 5 because I'm just crazy. So after having Joe on, I am sold on this model. I was kind of sold on it because I thought he had the best name in the game. And of course, he's all the way at the end of the alphabet. Uji Mushi. I just like saying it. Uji Mushi.
I do too.
Yeah, agreed. He does have probably the best top 3 best named figure in the game.
Single best name. I can't think of somebody else who has a best name. That might be another episode. Best names in Bushido.
Ooh, there we
go. Top 3. That's it. That would be good. I like that. Doesn't care how they play. Who's got a good name? Uji Mushi. So, 16. I think Joe really enlightened me and Jason on him. I mean, he's always been decent, but man, I didn't realize just how vile this guy can be.
He just gave me better ideas of how I can use him. So that was my big contra thing that I got from Joe when he was on.
Yeah. So again, 16 points, Ninja Worm, 3-4-3, 1/6, so his key he's not, he's a worm. He doesn't have key stat of 2/8. He's a 1/6. That's all right. He makes up for it. He has a melee weapon as a Tanto, sidestep defense 1, -1 melee strength. He isn't trying to be there to fight somebody hand to hand. What he's there to do is to shoot them at range. He has a Hanku, which not as good as Dodoko's. 4, 8, 12 range, range strength of +0, reload 1. So he doesn't get that pierce. That's okay, because if he had pierce, he'd be totally super disgusting. Assassin, camouflage, light-footed. What was that?
That'd be horrible if you had pierce for just to fight against him.
Yeah, no kidding. Because where he shines is his special stuff. So his unique effects, we're gonna skip over the Kohai because that's kind of self-explanatory. I shouldn't say it's self-explanatory. For those of you who don't know what it is, basically worms, they have this ability called Kohai. During deployment, this model gains a key feat of one friendly model in its warband. It's assumed that that key feat is written on this model's card. If multiple models in this warband have this rule, because there are multiple worms, sounds a little weird, they may not choose the same named feat. So cool. So that means if I want to, I could have him take Hail of Steel. Not sure if it works with his bow because he gets a reload token, but I could. But that means he could throw smoke bomb, or not smoke bombs. He could throw blind bombs. He could throw shuriken. He could throw whatever else, from that. Or he could get distraction. Having somebody else with distraction is kind of cool. He could get mirage. He could get apparition. He could get vitality. He could get any of those things. That's just going to be his one thing that he can do. So really kind of handy to give you. If there's something that you thought was disgusting in this list or in general, having to be able to have a second model have that disgusting ability is that much better, at least in my opinion. But his two things that he gets to choose when he activates is what really makes him kind of cool. So first one, this model's range weapon gains lightweight until the end of the activation. That's awesome, especially if you're trying to do that turn 1 assassination strike against the death sentenced figure. He can move up twice, close the distance, maybe get within medium range, depending on how aggressive your target is moving forward, and then be able to shoot them. They probably ran some -1, so you're at 6s to shoot that target. That's pretty good on turn 1. Especially if maybe you put some poison on the arrow or something like that, or Jikoku berries, something that had that little bit of oomph to it. And typically it's going to be that he's going to be taking the last shot because you have a boatload of pass tokens to use on turn 1. So make the other guy use all of his models first, and then maybe move around Biku and Kohi and Ghost to kind of get in position to do stuff. The other thing that Joe showed us is then he becomes essentially a machine gun, because at the beginning of his activation, he could just take a reload marker out. So if he gets into a spot, gets into some cover, there's no need for him to move, so he doesn't have to worry about lightweight. Just keep doing that every turn. He could turn, he could be shooting. So if he moves and shoots end of turn 1, beginning of turn 2, I just take the reload off, fire. Hey, beginning of my second activation, turn 2, guess what I'm doing? Taking the reload marker off, fire. That's why I might almost take apparition with him, because if somebody gets in base with him, he has nothing really to get him out. But if I could apparate out, hey, take the reload marker off, shoot you at close range. Bonus to me. So that's pretty much it. That's my assassination list. And it's all range base. I think it could be pretty good. I don't know. The weakness of this is I can't get all the bag of tricks that ninjas have. So I only had 1 rice left over after all of this to get tricks. And I took a smoke bomb, but it doesn't matter what I take. I have 1 rice, and the theme allows me to swap it out for whatever I might need. Now, granted, having a smoke bomb is really damn good, but if I need something, if I see some other 1 rice thing that I want, like blind bombs, poison vial, I have the ability to swap out if I want to. So that's pretty it. That's the list in a nutshell. Lots of range all the time. Try to be able to put as many ranged attacks on that death sentence model before it can remove death sentence. And then from there on out, holding zones by dancing around the zone and shooting people, or pushing them out of the zone and shooting people, or stepping away from them and shooting people, turning them around. You could have 1 model doing distraction, or if you decide to give Ujimushi distraction, you could have 2 models doing it, spinning people around, and then having Dodoku and Kyohi, shoot him in the back. In the meanwhile, you have Ghost, and everybody's got to respect Ghost because who knows where he's going to pop up, scoring a far zone, flipping an idol, or just coming in and stabbing someone where they didn't do it, or coming back to defend my zone because I'm being aggressive midfield or up further. So a little bit of flexibility. Again, not sure how it's going to work, but that's it in a nutshell. So feel free, people, to comment on the boards or wherever. Let us know what you think about it, or give it a test. Tell us how it works.
Yeah, that would be more interesting just to see how it kind of works, because I think it's got some standing to it, but I think the big thing is going to be how fast can you capitalize on killing the target with the death sentence marker before your opponent gets rid of it, or get lucky and you pick a good target that can't get rid of it.
Well, and not having, I think not having the tricks may cause me to go back down to 4 models, but I like having, again, I'm like a guy that likes to have a lot of models.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel safer that way. We might try this one in a battle report sometime, but I would have to admit, I wouldn't take this unless you could try it as a newer player, but then you have to be really good about where your terrain is and making absolute use of all that cover. The only person that's going to get cover pretty consistently is going to be Dodoku, because he could throw it out wherever he wants it. But everybody else is going to have to be pretty careful about that. Mm-hmm. So just kind of be aware. So that's Assassination mission in a nutshell. So that brings us to hide that. So who's up next? Are we going to have, was it Gaming Jason or was it Grandmaster Cody himself?
I think I should be able to go.
Okay, we will have you go. So you got what I would say is probably, at least in our meta, the most popular mission.
The fan favorite Skirmish mission.
Skirmish mission.
Yep. So just to kind of read over the card here. So during deployment, add 2 enhancement or terrain cards to the warband for free. That's super huge. It definitely makes Assassination, that makes me feel much richer compared to Assassination mission. So that one I've seen a lot of people use, and it's so damn flexible. Let's see. Next ability that you get is during the starting phase, choose 1 friendly ninja model. It gains disguise 5 until the end phase. This is also another really creative way to protect some of your models, as we've been shown in our meta. Especially for just like, oh, you want to gang up with your 1 key model? Nope. On this particular model, just go after them in general.
Yeah, and my saying is, anytime I can make someone have to make a dice roll, that just throws the element of randomness in there. You never know when it's going to go wrong, but just by having 1 model, 1 model can't be attacked by 1 key models until that disguise goes away. That's pretty huge.
Oh yeah. The next one, declare this ability in the starting phase once per game until the end phase. Friendly ninja models weapons gain key block, which is when they would benefit from assassination. So a little bit of a condition there, but nothing that's impossible for ninjas to pull off. And then key block is always fun to mess with people's days. Slightly more devastating to some factions than others.
Yup.
Especially Temple.
Oh yeah. Temple have a weakness? I didn't know about it.
Oh yeah.
That's about the only main weakness. I can key starve you like a junkie.
I thought junkies work the other way around. Going cold turkey is what you were talking about. Junkie going cold turkey.
Oh, there we go.
Not that I know about that kind of stuff. Never mind. Move on.
And then, of course, in the starting phase, double pass tokens the warband generates, which again for this one, an assassination mission, that definitely helps. So that way you don't just kind of be like, oh, I'm going to get outnumbered by the swarm armies.
Mm-hmm.
So my 100 rice list is a little bit probably what would be a more traditional ninja list. So I went with 4 ninjas and then decided to go with a crap ton of event cards. But I also would lean that way anyways, being Silver Moon, where usually I can easily justify taking 10 to 12 points in rice. Ninjas just basically doesn't make me feel as bad about playing my faction.
Yep. Well, yeah, and ninjas. Yeah, I think ninjas and Silver Moon probably have the best equipment and events and enhancements out there. So
it's just ninjas are more specific towards the ninjas being able to use them versus Silver Moon.
Yeah,
you can get lucky. Some of them you're able to use outside, which is why a lot of people do it for Ronin.
Yep. So what do you got in your list here?
So we're starting with our number 2 ninja, which is Katsumi. We went into great lengths in the podcast with Joe about that. And at least why me and you like him a lot. Joe liked Rin, but I mean, to me, he's still he's still probably the number 1 comparatively to the 2. It's just Rin serves a different function than he does. I like him because he's just going to kill.
He is a murdering ninja after my own heart, where I don't have to, I have to think, but not that hard. He's going to be able to go and wipe something off the board. Rin can do the same, but you got to put a little more thought into it, maybe.
Just a little bit, I think. So quick rundown: 4 movement, 4 melee, 4 range, which is awesome, and then 2/8 on his key. Has the Kasari Gama at +1 with brutal on it, chain weapon on it, sidestep and powerful attack, and then he also has the Kasari, which gives him sweep attack.
And is lightweight.
His lightweight. That's huge.
He can move and not get the penalty for it. So that's huge.
Yep. Armor 1, Assassination, Camo 2, Courage, Indomitable, Jump Up, Lightfootedness, and the big feat, Tireless. Blade Finesse and Tanuchi. Blade Finesse is Pierce 2 while I'm the active player, and then Tanuchi is Blockable 1.
Yeah, that one's kind of gross. When you get it. Time that right with all those pass tokens. Hey, you've only got like 1 or 2 dice. guess what you're not doing? Use them both.
It's unblockable combined with brutal as well. It's just
yeah.
He is just the killingest model out there.
He is.
Oh yeah.
Really
and then he has his melee boost at 2, and he can give himself sharp. So he doesn't fear tough. He doesn't fear armor.
Yeah, and
he will
kill
sharp something.
And it's sharp too, so it's really it's very effective. There's not too many things. I don't think there's anything that has tough 3. There might be something that could get to tough 3 in a weird roundabout way that I haven't figured out.
Horseshoe crabs.
Yeah.
The horseshoe crab, I think, is tough 3.
Horseshoe crabs.
I think currently the Kawa could.
Okay,
can it?
Just let's stop with the Kawa. All right.
Because if you virtue token himself right now, he gets a +1, and then Kato gives +1. So.
Oh yeah. I was like, wait, I thought you can only get to 2.
But he still eats Kawas for breakfast, so it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I mean,
he is a red meat eater for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
It's like whatever you might have as a defense, he has the answer to it. Like he's got chain weapon for parry, he's got sharp, he's got pierce, he's got unblockable and brutal, and then he's also like ninjas always get their specials at 0, and he's the one who got powerful, so he just has +4 strength as well. I mean that's like Rashka levels. It's
ridiculous. And then the one that our guy when he uses Katsumi all the time is he always knocks people down. Because if you can make somebody prone, they have to waste the action to get up, or he's engaged with them and they're down a die and they're striking last, even when they're the active player. So yeah, he's like I said, with every model you have to put some thought into it. But Katsumi, what he's going to do. It's just how do I want to kill my opponent, and I'll do it. Just got to get him there. That's the only thing you got to do. You got to have a Katsumi delivery system.
Make sure that he gets there without getting shot somehow.
Bingo. That's what smoke bombs are for.
Exactly.
All right.
So the next model in my list is Ghost at 23. I decided to go with the crutch because, I mean, I can play without Ghost, but I mean, in this particular case, I would definitely want to have Ghost, especially if I was going into a little bit more of a competitive environment. He just does so much he does too many damn things for me not to not take him. Yeah. And how I use him normally, being able to flank and make sure, especially going after my opponent's supporter type models. That only makes my life easier.
Oh yeah. And then, we haven't really talked about it really quickly, but you have something that's even more disgusting. You put disguise on Katsumi or Ghost, and he just walks up and it's like, that guy doesn't look quite right. Is that a geisha or is that a guy? I don't remember a geisha being that burly and having that kind of sword. Until next thing you know, he's up in your face and killing you because you can't make a 5 on 2 dice.
Okay, that happened one time. Actually, no, it didn't happen like 4 times in one video. I remember that.
every time. Anyway, so Ghost, but Ghost, he's your utility guy. He does it all, and I think he's a really good backup for.
He's an absolute good backup, whether it's a harasser or to back up Katsumi or do whatever. I mean, he helps all the ninjas in one way or another.
Cool.
Next, I have my number 3 pick, which was Biku. Kind of like in our talk, I would usually always use Kyohi, and the only reason why I'm using Biku now, or I'm putting Biku in, is because I finally own her, so I can actually use her. Otherwise, I mean, being able to she plays a little bit more to my play style, which is I like having access to distraction. I mean, Joe definitely enlightened me on how to use prediction a little bit more effectively. But Biku, just even when I would play against her, she would play more to my play style. Having distraction is huge, and then basically Hail of Steel, and she's 2 points cheaper than Kyohi, and the only noticeable difference is that she has evasive baked in naturally versus I have to spend it for the special ability, so almost superior to Kyohi.
I would agree. I like Biku a lot. And gives you that range threat, and again something else that can knock things down at range because of her Kusari right there. With the lightweight, again, a lot like Katsumi. So you got 2 things that can knock things down at range and be able to deal with anything. And again, Hail of Steel is always good in any list. All right.
And then my last ninja that I picked was Shizuka at 18. So that one, I mean, I like Shizuka, but I mean, Joe definitely just helped kind of push me over on her. I never really thought of her as the delivery system for shadow moves until we talked about it. I always use her just more for like objective grabber or VIM because it's really difficult to kill her. Even when I'm like, I'm gonna go full bore and kill her, it's like, nope, if I'm lucky, I'll maybe do like 2 points of damage to her in a game.
Yep. She is a badass. Just to run through real quick, because this is actually one model that we haven't had up yet. 18 rice cost, Long Shadow Ninja, 3 melee pool, 4 movement, 3 range, 2/8 on the key. She has a Sai, melee strength 0, sidestep defense 0, counter strike defense 0, so that's always fun. Armor 1, Assassin, camouflage 2, dodge 1, so very defensive, evasive, so she get away. She can at least bypass threats if she needs to. Light-footed, parry 1, making her that much more defensive, and with counter strike on there, yay!
She's effectively brutal counter strike.
Yes.
That's the best way I can.
You got a better chance of getting it off because you gotta have it by success level 2 or something like that. Mirage, which we've talked about before, and Shadow Walk, which was the one that I did not know how to use and was quickly told how to use it. And it is very effective. If this model is out of line, it's 1 key active personal once a turn. If this model is out of line of sight of enemy models, place it within 3 of its current locations. Smoke bomb. Now you get to go wherever you want.
Yep.
Or when you play against Bakemono, Darkness. Oh, well, cool. I can go ahead and do that.
Shadow Walk wherever the hell I want.
Or Cult too, that's true, with the fog.
You just have to watch out if they have 6 Sense models.
That's true.
Boo, 6 Sense. They suck. Unique effects really fast. This model gains Agile until the end of the activation, or this model's melee weapon gains Pierce 2 until the end of the activation. So again, 2 very nice ones. If you don't want to get pinned down, she's got Agile, so she could just walk out of combat if need be. And if she needs to murder somebody in the back, she gets the Pierce 2 if they have some stiffer armor resistance. So very, very helpful there. So that's all your dudes. I think they all pretty much play into your theme's strengths.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Skirmish Mission just as a whole is a very flexible theme, so you can almost take most ninjas and kind of make it work to your own way. It just, I mean, I guess it could work in the 5 ninja theme.
I think it works a little better in the 5 ninja theme because you're able to get that extra.
You're able to get that extra equipment or that extra enhancement.
Yeah, for sure. So that is real good. So go ahead and give us a talk about your equipment there.
So first piece of equipment that I listed was Jikoku berries at 2. Those you use during the starting phase, and you select a model to use that, and that model's weapons gain poison. Whenever they damage, it does a poison 3.
You get 1 poison 3 counter.
1 poison 3 marker on there. So
until the end phase too.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
Yep. So personal favorite, or aka have had it done to me enough times. Basically, whatever has Hail of Steel, if you have one of those 2 ninjas, and then you're either for sure going to kill your target, or if you play it right, oh look, I just nailed 3 different targets, and they're at least all going to take 4 points of damage by the end of the turn.
I like to think of it as a super violent Kinu.
That's
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you time it right, it's really, really nasty. It just depends on if you're for sure going to take down that medium-sized base model, or if you're going to spread the love a little bit and then possibly take out more than one model.
Oh yeah, it's it really. I mean, anything that's going to cause 3 damage in the end phase is gross. So if you have, Shuriken may put a point on you, may put 2 points on you if the dice rolls are good, or if maybe it's against a high armor and they do have a good success level. But then if there's, at the end phase, if you compound that by taking 3, that 2 damage plus 3, you've just killed most Edo models and a lot of the other weaker models, and you've put a serious hurt on
most other models in the
everything
game.
else in the game, unless they're Oni.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. All right, next up.
I took 4 smoke bombs because
you're playing ninjas.
Yeah, that's pretty much the answer for that one. So I had the points, took 4 smoke bombs. Just throw down a smoke bomb, cover myself, and frustrate the hell out of my opponent because it's like, oh, well, I can have this ninja throw the smoke bomb down. Oh, okay. Yeah. Or make them feel like I did this awesome setup. Yeah, smoke bomb.
Basically, you're giving yourself a 50 millimeter base of cover within 6 inches of any friendly ninja model within line of sight of, and that's actually pretty awesome. Till the end phase, it just stays out there, so you could seed the field with it. And at 1 point a pop, there's no reason not to take 4, unless you're a dummy like me and have 5 figures. Anyway,
I mean, you still got 1 in your list. So that was the important thing.
Got 1. That was the no-brainer.
So the next one I picked, this was more of like a recent, like kind of figuring it out, and this was more like after. I remember it was like I forget what game it was, but I actually took 2 blind bombs. Being able to throw blind out on people, and I believe it's a 1-inch pulse, like I know that Tsubaki gets. If someone's putting their models next to each other, I know there's a couple factions where it kind of works where they want to move in rank and file in those walls. Yeah, I'm definitely going to mess up some factions that way.
Yep.
Fine that they don't have 6 cents.
Absolutely.
So let's take
blind is good, lightweight. It's all good. There's nothing bad with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I took
blind
2 of those. Let's see. Yep, shadow moves. This was the big point card that I bought.
You had the points.
That's true.
I know, Kai. I don't like it either, but he bought it. Play at any time except while resolving model's action. Exchange the positions of 2 friendly ninja currently in play. Hooray! Just what I wanted.
So when we were designing these, one of the themes was supposed to be that all the ninjas are just people wearing black. So if you're playing against the ninjas, how would you know which one was which? So like there's one where you can, and Ghost's ability as well, where you can remove them, and this thing where you can swap them. It just sort of helps reinforce that theme. You don't know what it is. It's just a figure in black. You might think you're going to attack a worm and beat him to death, but it was actually Katsumi in disguise, because that's what ninjas do.
That's what ninjas do. I like that. Yeah, because you can't tell who they are, and that's how they were always supposed to be. One looks just like everybody else until such time as you realize, like, holy crap, this guy's burly and he's killing me and he's Katsumi. No, he's not Ujimushi. Yeah, I like that, and no matter how much I think it's disgusting and I hate when it's used against me, it's a cool thing. And I have to admit, I even like Ghost's ability, being able to go elsewhere. That's just cool. Hate it again. Hate it when it's used against me, but cool otherwise. Jason looks like he's preoccupied.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Unfortunately, the youngling, hearing all of the things about how disgusting shadow moves is very upset.
I know it's totally trashing Ito, Kai. I understand. Don't worry. We'll change that someday. All right, so I'll carry on for him. So his other items are poison vial, because who doesn't want more poisoned weapons? Well, poison vials, not poison weapons. What? There's multiple poisons. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you don't have.
Hey, at least When it's my turn, it should go pretty quick because I have a lot of the same stuff.
That'll be helpful. I appreciate you, Cody. Poison Vial in the starting phase. All friendly ninja models gain poison 1/1 until the end phase. Poison for everybody! Huzzah!
I actually think this would have been better in your list.
I think it might. I could switch it out.
You can switch it out, yeah. You got the
They're like, oh, he's got a smoke bomb. Oh, we could handle that, sucker.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
One turn of double hail of steel and 2 shots with bows, with poison.
Yeah, that's
a lot of extra poison out.
That might be my switch. I'm a bait and switch kind of guy.
Yeah, come on. Being the resident Ito player, you should have taken all the poison.
I got all the poison. I am trying to leave that exclusively in the realm of Ito. I'm just going to use lots of mass violence.
I mean, I thought the Heavyman Hair Club included all.
He's not just a member, he's the president. And then Jason has 2 pieces of terrain. The ubiquitous smoke field, which allows him to put down an area of smoke, which acts like a smoke bomb. So you can walk into it, you can walk out of it, you can give your enemies, it's a 50 millimeter base. It's essentially a smoke bomb, but it stays out there forever. So that's fun. And then last but not least, the rice bale barricade. Because why not cut off access to zones and things of your opponent, so that way it's easier for your ninjas to kill them.
And give you cover.
And give you cover. Yay, rice bale barricade. So that's Jason's list kind of in a nutshell. Again, skirmish mission, and this is my opinion. Cody and Jason, you may chime in on this. I just think its biggest strength is its flexibility. Being able to get those extra terrain and event cards or enhancement cards just makes it so that way you're covered. So, in my list, if I could have gotten those points to get events in Assassination, then it would be gross.
I like it because depending on your matchup, if you're going up against Cult or like Ryujin or something, you could swap in a Sun Goddess Shrine and kind of block off a area for that, or it's almost like Ordered for Battle Light.
Yeah.
I mentioned this when I talked about Righteous Warriors with Beard, and any amount of list tailoring is really good. A lot of people think Ordered for Battle is the best theme in the game. But getting just that little bit of it and some other benefits, I think, is one of the ways that you can look to do better than Ordered for Battle.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I agree with you, because when I've been watching battle reports or after action reports about different tournaments and things, people say, "Oh, they took Order for Battle. I took all these different things, but really I only wanted this one thing." And it's these lists: Righteous Warriors, Skirmish, Assassination. That's all you really need. Is now I won't lie. If I'm playing Assassination, if I could get more, I could take more, but I didn't leave myself the points to it. But that one point gives me that flexibility. If I'm going up against Blessed List and I know there's a lot of immune to poison, well, I'm not going to take the poison vial. I'll take the extra smoke bomb, or maybe I'll take, blind bombs. Who knows what I'm going to take? And same thing with this list. I can get that extra piece of terrain to suit who my enemy is, to suit the scenario. So yeah, I don't think Order for Battle is the be all end all, unless you're going to do some dramatic changes. Again, most of the time I'm hearing it's just a little tweak.
For Adepticon, I took it and for my list, and it was just to swap out one model. I had the Kosuke for idols, I had Tsuchiro for zones. And then I took a bunch of the extra stuff, and honestly, that was worse. I should have just had the 2 models, because having all the extra cards that I could put in there, I was like, do I swap this out? Do I not? And I overthought a lot before the game rather than just that simple switch or not even worrying about it.
Yeah. I mean, and that really is, really is the thing there. So that's Skirmish mission, a la Jason. Gaming Jason, that is. So we will. I gotta remember that.
I know.
So as we move this ninja party on, Let's get it started, huh? We will now move to a Grand Master Cody's scouting mission. And let's pull that up right now so we could see what that all involves. Scouting mission, here it is.
A bunch of chaos, because it's me making a list.
Checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice.
Exactly.
You're always naughty, Cody. We know that.
Always.
It's okay.
Always.
All right, tell us about your scouting mission. Tell us about scouting mission in general.
Scouting mission. This is actually, out of the current 3 themes, this is my favorite.
Okay.
Other than my super secret move the miniatures around the painting desk theme. This is the only one I've played. And I really like it for the first bullet point. Being able to deploy up to 3 friendly ninja models in scout up to 4 inches is huge.
Yeah. That first turn movement up the field, that's really awesome.
Yeah, you can kind of strategically place your smoke field if you have it, or rice belt barricade if there's really no, if it's preset tables, kind of getting them into position, or at least getting them in cover and not worrying about, the Kahimi on the opposite end or the Wasapu just utterly destroying them with ranged.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like scout just because being able to deploy after your opponent, whether you deploy first or second, just those other models that you can kind of pick and choose, like, okay, I need this here now, or I can overload one side of the board. It's always nice just having the extra flexibility.
Mm-hmm. Knowing where the enemy is always a gigantic benefit in things, and then being able to tailor where you're at, especially with that extra movement, because with I've seen the wolves for Shiho, they get the 2-inch scout, and that makes them that gets them up the board fast. But 4, that's 8 inches up the board. Actually, it's more than it, because you don't have to be behind the line on that 4-inch scout. So you could be you could be over it.
Yeah, just like 5 basically.
Yeah, so it's essentially like 5. So yeah, it's that is really nice.
Yeah, I really like that. I almost took the event instead, like if I wasn't playing scouting mission, just to get the scout, but that's why I like this, because I don't have to pay for it. I just get it for 3 of my ninjas.
There you go. Yeah, free stuff is good. Free is good.
If it's free, it's for me.
There you go.
The second bullet on this theme is once per game during the starting phase, choose a ninja not in line of sight of any enemy model. The chosen model gains a disguise 7 marker.
Yay, it's Haname.
Yeah. I mean, you can use this turn 1 if you want. You can use it later. It just depends, because, if you're with the scout, if you put them into cover, you can get that.
If you have that smoke field out, just walk one of your ninjas into smoke field, and
it's during the starting phase, so
right.
I mean,
you could you get them in the smoke field right at the at the end of turn 1.
Yeah, the terrain smoke, not the smoke bomb.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Smoke field.
Smoke field.
Yeah.
It's too much smoke.
Too much. So I really like that one. It's a nice ability just to have. I feel like you can easily forget about it.
Yeah.
But it's nice having it just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third bullet point is, I really like this one too, especially with the list that I designed, is friendly ninja models gain bravery when they would benefit from assassin.
Mm-hmm.
So just that pesky fear that, I hate making fear rolls. I don't care if I have bravery, or I even try to make them when I have fearless, and I still, not that I need to, but
you obviously were watching me play last night against Brian at the store, and as I was, butchering my fear checks, trying to get into people, that was loads of laughs.
Yeah, I love fear when I have it, but I hate playing against it.
Yes.
And then the last bullet point is the usual for the current 3 themes, and that's doubling your pass tokens.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with that. That is super awesome.
So,
it's interesting to me that the faction got a reputation for having no answer to fear. When 2 of the 3 themes do, it's just that everybody plays the other one.
That's
Right.
It's the one that has no solution to fear. That's pretty much what it is, to be honest. All right, so that is scouting. That is the scouting mission theme. So let's take a peek at the list Cody built for it. And I made your change that you were talking about, Cody.
Okay.
So you're good.
Yeah. So the first model is, I believe, the newest ninja model, GwtG.
Crap.
Oh, I guess not the newest because there's the Moon Lion, but
All right, keep going. I'll get it up
for him. So
That sounded
GwtG, he is a North Star ninja coming in at 21 rice. He's got 3 attack, 3 ranged, 4 move, 2/8 for key stat. He's got bolas as his melee weapon at +1, and it's a chain weapon with bleed 1, and it has grapple attack and push defense. As a ranged weapon, he has thrown bolas. They're bleed 1/1. Unfortunately, not lightweight, but that's not the end of the world. And his range band is 468. He's got armor 1, assassin, camouflage, light-footed, and resistance.
Nice.
So, just from the front of the card, kind of the main reason why I took him without even looking at the key feats was he's a model with built-in free ranged weapons, so I didn't have to take the hidden shuriken event card.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the main thing. I do like the chain weapon too, but then when we look at the key feats, I really like distraction. So we've talked about that, being able to change an enemy model's facing, setting up those assassination runs. Plus then, if he needs to get into a fear model, he can attempt to change the facing and then gets bravery. Then he also has insight, so for tactician, I also really like getting tactician. I've never been one to pay for anything to get tactician, like the event or enhancement cards or anything, but just that he's got it and it's a 1 key instant ability. It's kind of nice having that to try and set up those next turns with your distractions and those assassinations, or if there's a key idol or something that you need to go first to get. Let's see, and then unique effects. He's got, for the thrown bolas, they cause successful attacks with this weapon cause the target to gain an immobilize marker. That's huge. And then at the start of this activation, choose one of the following. His melee weapons gain poison 1/1, or he gets move boost 2.
So he has the disgusting combination of potentially putting 2 condition markers on, poison and bleed, and then having them both resolve in the end phase. Hooray!
Yeah, and he can do, so with melee, he can do poison and bleed, and with ranged, he can do bleed and immobilized.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that, just those extra little things that he brings to the table that, a lot of the other ninjas, I don't want to say necessarily don't, but just he's adding those extra effects and kind of messing with you.
I mean, playing essentially Ito, I am a big fan of any extra damage I could do after the fact that my opponent, unless they have tough or some other way to get rid of it, is always awesome. So I will never downplay the usefulness of that.
Yeah. Plus not that there's really a bad sculpt in ninjas, but I really like his sculpt because you can see him like whipping those bolas around, and it's cool. I've got him on the paint table right now. So
what don't you have on the paint table, Cody? That's the bigger question.
Currently, I guess I have 3 paint tables. It just kind of rotates.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
that's cool.
For our audio only listeners, Master Enos has shown us his nicely done GwtG.
Very nice. All right.
All right. Next model we have, which will be a quick one since it's already been talked about, is
Ad nauseam.
Kohi.
Hey, I have that card.
Yeah. So, again, I'm not going to go into the stats since we've already talked about Kohi, but he's got the daggers. So that built-in ranged weapon, Hail of Steel, which I learned is more disgusting than what I knew before this episode.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of nice being able to throw daggers, Kusari, blind bomb, whatever you want. And then, as you guys mentioned with prediction, so really playing on that prediction and changing the facing and that kind of stuff with this list. And I took Hotai's coin just because I was struggling to find 2 more rice for something.
Really?
I'd probably add more crap to throw at this point now that I know. But I also roll a lot of ones, and so yeah, I was just like, I'll just throw that on Kohi because it's also one of my favorite sculpts in the KKZ line.
There you go. Can't go wrong.
No. And then the third model should be
Yuto.
Yes, Yuto. So Yuto is North Star Ninja, 19 rice, 3 attack, 3 ranged, 4 move, 2 8. Also has a chain weapon. Did not plan that. I just realized that.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, sidestep 0, grapple attack 0, armor 1, assassin, camouflage, light-footed, resistance, range defense 1, because I hate getting shot, and then also tactician. So this list has 2 ways to get tactician, one built in, one you have to pay for. And then this model also has distraction and also fog of hesitation. So the fog of hesitation's a 2-key active. It's a 4-inch pulse, opposed key test once per turn. And one model within the pulse may not be chosen as activating model until all other models in its warband are exhausted.
So that's kind of a fun combination with prediction. So you could essentially say this model's going last, and now pick some other model, and they have to go whether it's in the order you want.
Yeah, and being able to change facings on stuff, you can really kind of, as long as you're succeeding or they're failing on everything, you can really kind of control the board.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of what do I do without wasting too much time. Especially with them all being actives, that's one thing that I do think this list would suffer from is taking a lot of time, just because you're going to be trying to figure out what you want to distract, what you want to predict, the fog.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so unique effects for Yuto is they get the Kusari, which is always good, that free built-in ranged weapon, or this model can gain split attack until the end of the activation. So that's always nice to have against those pesky Bakemono or even Kirai, anything annoying.
Yes. which is every other model in the game unless it's on your side.
And it's another activation tool as well. Like you've got your double pass tokens. If you split attack, you're using one of your activations to take away 2 of theirs.
Yep.
Right.
So it's another tool to even that up when you've only got half the models they have.
Absolutely. Again, it's that activations are the most vital resource in Bushido.
Yes. So yeah, that's Yuto. I again took it because I like the sculpt. Really, I just picked like my 5 favorite sculpts and made a list.
That's not wrong. It still can work. So
yeah. And then, so the last 2 ninjas are Ronin ninjas. I took the good old Biku because it's Biku. But like we said, built-in ranged weapon, also has the hidden Kusari, and Hail of Steel, so chuck all the extra nonsense that I bring in the list, and she also has distraction and a chain weapon. Hey, I guess this is just the chain gang.
It's a chain gang. Now you got your theme. There you go. It's the sound of the ninja working with their chain gang. There you
Completely
go.
unintentional, but I love it. So yeah, I won't drag on about Biku since I think all three of us have talked about her.
Absolutely.
There's a Master Akari somewhere dreading your list.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I need to play Josh now. And then for the last ninja, it's everyone's favorite Ronin Bakemono ninja, and that is Hiretsuna. He is a whopping 10 rice, and he's got melee pool of 2, ranged 2. He's got a 4 move, and he's got a key stat of 1. Melee weapon, daggers, gives him sidestep 0. He also has counter strike defense 0. And yeah,
-2 on that melee strength, so he's got
to try
sidestep. I mean, if you have the key for boost and stuff, you never know. But then again, he's got the built-in daggers for ranged weapon, still -2, but you never know. He can ping something and get poison on it, or whatever he needs to do. But he's the main objective getter. He's got assassin, camouflage 0, cowardly, insignificant, jump up, light-footed, and tiny. Good luck shooting him. So even though he has insignificant, he can be an objective getter by using Swift Executor, which is a 2-key active. He can't move or be in base to base. It's once per turn, and he loses insignificant until the end of this activation, and he gets to make a walk, then a scenario action.
Very nice.
It's huge.
Yep.
That has come in handy so many times, and it's just wonderful. And the other thing that's nice too is if you have the key to then, I mean, he wouldn't be able to use it both in one turn because he maxes out at 4 since he's not taking in Savage Wave, but also having Vitality. So if you need to, walk him and do like a complex action for, what is that, Osatsu?
Yeah,
everyone's favorite. I love that scenario.
I won't go through it all. I'll just say there's just to make it work properly. There's quite a heavy errata for Swift Executor.
Okay,
it works the same way as you think it does, but we had to reword it quite a lot just for technical reasons.
Okay,
so
makes sense.
If you're playing him, check out the errata for it and make sure you've got that.
Okay,
got it down. Yeah.
Okay, he's not going to be auto winning Osatsu now.
Well, yeah. So then unique effects, vitality is good. Unique effects, he can pick to gain poison 1/1, or if he's not base to base with or in line of sight of an enemy, you can place him within 3 inches of his current location. So, hello, smoke bombs.
Yes.
I like him. He's a really good model just to harass the backline. He can take out some support models if needed, or just kind of draw resources away from where the rest of the fighting's going on. If you lose him, no big deal. He's only 10 rice. It's not hurting like if you lose Ghost or Katsumi or someone like that.
Yeah. Any other ninja.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if you lost Umuji, like you would still feel that losing Umuji.
Yeah.
Uji Mushi.
Okay. So then for events, I took 4 smoke bombs. I took herbal remedy just so that way I could get rid of conditions, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I took a blind bomb, a hidden Kusari. Yeah, so Herbal Remedy is you can choose one status effect other than reloading. One ninja model gains immune. So to that condition. It's always nice, especially going up against like Ito or something like that. But
Yeah.
so I took that, took a hidden Kusari, took the
No,
poison.
it's just one ninja as well, so it doesn't have to be a friendly ninja. So you can just get rid of control.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or
Yeah.
Impetuous. You get rid of Impetuous because that's a state, isn't it?
Yeah, blind, berserk.
Prone.
Lots of things.
Oh wow, you can remedy yourself from being knocked over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Smelling salts, man.
seen in the historical documentary Back to the Future 3, where you take your drink and suddenly are upright.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Sounds about right. So yeah. So I took that, the Kusari, the poison vial, and then
Yep.
we've
Keep
talked
going. I'm
about
just
all that
doing all
fun
this
stuff.
stuff. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
And then for terrain, I took both a smoke field and a rice bale barricade.
Again, you got the points. Might as well.
Yeah. So the only thing I might change would be changing out the Hotai's coin, maybe for something else, or multiple something else's, more blind bombs. I don't know, but
I mean, you're not that far away for again. Shadow moves are so awesome, and with this list, it might be a lot of fun to do that too.
yeah. The only thing, so with shadow moves,
Five,
can
though.
you declare that? So like your opponent declares a model, can you then use that, or as long as they haven't started the action, or what's the timing on that?
No, I think as soon as they say who they're activating, they've started the activation. So you can't do it before.
That's what I thought, but I want to double check on that. So,
There we go.
but yeah, that could be viable. I mean, I have like 12 rice and equipment and whatnot, so I can mess around with it. But yeah, that's my list of chaos and control.
Your chain gang, as it
My
were,
chain
except
gang.
to get Haratsuna some chains.
And Kohi.
Get him some blame.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna model both of them with chains hanging off. Give
May
them
as
like
well.
big clock necklaces.
There you go.
They're all Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
So
That's the Hammer Time gang then at that
It's
point.
a Hammer Time game. Stop. Hammer Time. Anyway. So that's the original 3 for themes. And we did it. Gentlemen, I would like to congratulate Gaming Cody and our Grandmaster Cody and Gaming Jason. We have gotten through 3 themes in record time.
This
Well,
is
that
true.
helps that we all used like the same.
We all
model.
use the same models over and over again.
So-
It did help. Not going to lie. But that gives us more time now to have Master Enos talk. And I have dropped the sharing. So you could share your screen, sir, to tell us about.
Actually, just before I do, because I didn't know what you guys were going to choose. But I'm just going to drop some tech that I haven't had a chance to use enough, but I've actually really been liking it, and it doesn't work for the theme I'm going to talk about. But I don't know if you can bring up the card on the wiki.
Sure.
Blessing of Canon. It's the cycle deck event.
Give me just a second. I'll get there.
I'll just talk about this, and then I'll move on to mine.
And is that it's in Kage Kaze.
No, it's running.
Running? Perfect.
Running cycle.
Running. So my computer struggles to move. Blessing of Canon. There we go. There you go.
I really like this for ninjas because if you're using assassin, you can always choose 2 dice. Well, unless you roll triples, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You can always choose 2 dice of different numbers. It makes a much bigger difference to ninjas than it does for anybody else because you're almost never getting the downside, whereas you're getting the upside because they're rolling some doubles when they go back against you. For 1 rice, I think this is really good in any ninja list that's relying on using the assassin trait, which you probably should be.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the goal with it. That's why Assassin's there is to take advantage of that.
Yeah, so you should, even if you have to choose the 2 lowest dice, you're still getting damage rather than getting a double. But your opponent should be rolling more doubles, and if they have things that are not assassin, like strong or weak, they also increase your chances of getting doubles.
Mhm.
So anything like that will mean that you're taking less damage,
Which is a
whereas
good
you
thing.
should be able to ignore it. So it's kind of funny because it's the goddess of mercy, and it's the best use for it is in the assassin faction. But
It's a swift and merciful death. That's how I'm choosing to interpret it right now.
It
yeah,
protects them.
I'd consider that for any of the original 3 themes.
Okay, definitely a good thought. That's a good thought on that. And I'll be honest, maybe it's just because we don't have the cycle deck, or I just haven't seen it. So that's probably why I didn't even know it existed. There you go. You learn something. You learn something new every episode with this. All right. So I'm going to stop that. Bam. There we go. And
Gonna find my.
it's and much like we were talking about last week with Joe, we were saying that you never play. There's never been a perfect or a game of Bushido that doesn't have some slight error in it. And just like there's always something new to learn, which is one of the reasons why we love doing these episodes, is because you can learn quite a bit.
Well, yeah, I learned so much. Like, I just threw models that I liked together, and then after listening and sitting here, I'm like, hey, this actually might be viable.
There you go. There you go. So we're looking at the House of the Bleeding Moon theme. So I'm thinking it's going to be using some Bleeding Moon ninjas.
Nah, that definitely seems like a Long Shadow theme. Not gonna lie.
Those long shadows would be tricky that way.
They are the tricky ones, but yeah. So I think most people have seen this now. This has been around since Adepticon, actually, when I think you guys
Yes.
previewed it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So the original 3 themes all have the same benefit of double pass tokens. One of the things that I decided early on was we were not going to continue that with new themes.
Mm-hmm.
And this one then goes the complete opposite direction. This warband does not generate pass tokens at all. But undamaged Bleeding Moon ninjas all start with an extra activation counters every starting phase.
That's scary as hell.
I mean, to me, this is like you have to play perfectionist with the ninjas at this point. So it definitely speaks to ninjas themselves for like the perfect assassination to get the most benefit out of it.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that, Jason. I'd say by getting three activations, you're just trying to make sure that you're not taking damage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
know.
But I mean, especially if you're playing up against a swarm army and you're only getting the normal amount of pass tokens, which I mean is still something. But if you start
No, you
losing
don't
those
get-
extra activations,
You don't get any pass
oh,
tokens.
you don't generate any. Okay, yeah. So especially even like those higher swarm armies that I'm thinking of right now, like you got to play that perfect to make sure you don't take anything, because at that point, then you will succumb to the numbers. Just
You got
something.
2
Kill.
tireless models in Bleeding Moon, I believe.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely offers a completely new way of playing the faction. It is more based around the idea of they're going in and having a small battle rather than a sneaky assassination thing. They're going to just imagine Kitsumi with 3 activations.
Yeah.
He's going to kill a lot more people. With tireless and 3 activations, I watched him kill 6 models in turn 3
Yeah.
in one game. Because they just kept sending guys into him, and he kept killing them. And then at the end of the turn, he's like, "I've still got 3 activations to go," and just murdered 3 more guys. So it's a very different way to play. It doesn't lean into all of the advantages that the faction has. You're going to get slightly less assassin rolls off. You're going to get a bit less chance to use your stay back and things like predict and things like that the other houses have. You're not going to get that. It's going to be more about combat and killing things.
So basically, you're saying, Greg, this is a theme for you.
Yep.
Point, click, kill something.
That can make them a bit more predictable. So although it's very powerful, that doesn't translate directly into just winning the game for you.
No.
And also, if you think about it, 4 ninjas with 3 activations each is still only about the same amount of activations as a 6-7 model ordinary warband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it is extremely powerful, and especially with things like shadow moves, you get somebody on the far side of the table, and all of a sudden they've got 3 activations and they're amongst your lines on turn 1. That can be horrendous, but hopefully that'll only happen to you once, and then you'll learn to counter it. So yeah, permitted only Bleeding Moon and Ronin Bleeding Moon models. There are no Ronin Bleeding Moon models yet, but I just thought I'd put that in just in case we did one. You never know. I think I've not got any plans for it, but somebody might win a Masters and want one. So
those Masters winners, you never know what they're gonna do. Some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously you cut down your model options a lot. Like I was saying, this is all about the restrictions rather than the benefits, which the other ones are just about the benefits. But I think this is really going to shoot one particular model right to the top.
Okay, Makoto.
Makoto's a great model anyway. I think she's got a lot of good points to her. So if I can make it work, here we go. She's only 17. 17 right is cheap for a ninja. She can be quite cheap because she's only got melee 3. Melee 3 in Bushido really is, it can be very good depending what else you have, or it can just be sort of average to poor. So she has the ability to gain melee boost 2, combo attack 0. Those are both excellent abilities.
Oh yeah.
Which I think push her to being still a good combat model. Cloud Walk is quite rare outside of the factions that have loads of it, like Tengu. So it means you can get her exactly where you want it. But I think the thing that's really going to make her wanted in this theme is she's the only Bleeding Moon with distraction.
Yeah.
And that's not really their thing. So that's probably not going to change. So if you want to get any assassins off easily, then she's probably going to be required. I still think distraction is one of the key things of the faction. I can't make lists work without it. So I think she's going to be your first auto include, at least to start with. Maybe people come up with new ways of playing this, but so yeah, I think she was the first model I went for, mostly for the distraction, but just as a cheap, good combat model as well at 17 rice. I think that's the perfect buy to start with. We've been over distraction, I think.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, though. Just thinking about it, Makoto could find a new life, because I know when I use Makoto, I love using her, and I'm like, oh, Makoto's going to do so awesome. 9 times out of 10, I get Makoto killed like in 30 seconds before the end of turn 2. Yeah, she's usually dead because I screwed something up. Or I'm like, Makoto, go for it, and she goes for it, and she just whips for me big.
I mean, Makoto with 3 activations, that could be that's pretty scary, you know.
Especially with escape.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say with escape. That's huge.
Yeah, and also just if you, I use escape mostly against like swarm armies. You go in, you kill one, and then they all attack you. But if you go in and kill one and run away, you're mostly fine. Having the extra activation means you can usually guarantee the kill, because if you just short of killing it, you kill it with your next activation and then walk off.
Yep.
And also she 3 activations with mood boost 2. So that can be helpful as well if you just need to get somewhere. She could be a good VIM.
Yeah, she is a very good VIM. I like her for
with
that.
Cloud Walk as well. Yeah. So yeah, I think she was definitely the first one I went for. And the second one I went for is no real surprise.
Yeah, that's King Killer himself.
If you're going to give somebody 3 activations, it might as well be Katsumi. He's tireless, so he can just stand in the middle of the field, kill anybody who tries to attack him, and then have 3 activations at the end to do whatever he wants with.
Yeah.
Like I say, whatever you can think of that your models might have that would protect them against him, he has the counter to it. So, yeah, I think we've talked about him enough, really. The only downside to him is 25 rice, but I think he's well worth it. So.
Again, he's one of those models, and I've kind of talked about in some of our other episodes. There's certain models in the game that are that rice cost. You are getting every pennies worth out of them. You really don't complain about them being the cost that they are, and he is definitely one of those.
Yes,
He is not
absolutely.
He's not expensive for what he does. No.
Yeah. So thinking about a similar strategy, like you're going to get a free extra activation every turn. We might as well get the best ones. I've gone for Rin as well. So Rin and Katsumi.
Yeah.
Again, the two high cost ones. Whichever ninjas you buy, they're all going to get the same benefit, get extra activation. I might as well have an extra 25 or 24 rice activation as buy the cheap ninjas. So I've just gone for the expensive ones. And again, we've talked about Rin a bit. Cobra Strike lasting till the end phase is good with Tylus.
Yes.
And she's one of the few ninjas with any kind of reroll ability with prowess.
Yep.
So it means if you take her, she doesn't need Hote's coin, so Katsumi can have it. And you've got a little bit of reroll just to protect you against the dice.
Yeah, especially and with 3 activations, that's 3 times that you're going to get the rerolls for it, as long as you're being the active player.
Yeah.
Which, if you're doing things right, you are.
So yeah, again, fairly self-explanatory there. So I'll talk about that at the end. So the last one, it's only 4 ninjas for me. We've got Nagato.
Oh, okay.
So Nagato is 22 rice again, so he's choosing an expensive guy. There's a few reasons for picking him though. He's only 3 melee, which we could have had the other guy with 4, and I forgot his name.
Karetsu?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody.
Karsu.
Yeah, he's a rough one to get him to work. I still haven't figured out how to make him work.
Yeah.
So I'm interested about this guy.
So this guy's only got 3 melee, but he costs 22, so he's got to have something to make up for that. So the good parts are he's got +1 on his hook swords, which is a good start. Parry and combo attack 0. That basically means that he is, like I was talking about before, he's the top end of the 3 dice things, which makes him a very good melee model. He doesn't need 4 dice necessarily with parrying, and combo 0 is the same as having 4 dice in combo 1, which you would consider to be very good. But that's the thing that's going to make the difference. This doesn't appear outside of temple factions very much, but there's a couple of people. Basically, the way you get kata is to practice the same thing over and over again, and you have to do that if you're learning hook swords. They're not an easy weapon to learn. So the background for this model is that they have to spend like 16 hours a day practicing their weapon, and on top of that, they still have to do all their other duties as a shadow crow, and they have to fight off the worms who are trying to become full ninjas. So based on that amount of training and effort put in, this profile got kata, and also we'll look at the second unique effect in a minute. So kata is one of the best traits in the game. It's right up there with prowess. If you think prowess is what makes samurai the best melee guys in the game, kata is what lets monks look at samurai and go, I can do that. I can take you on. This is fine. It's not going to make your rolls higher, but it's going to make them very, very reliable. And yeah, so kata on a ninja with 3 dice, combo 0, and parry built in. Already we're looking at quite a good melee combatant, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I love kata just because I'm rolling 3 dice, or I'm rolling, no matter how many dice I'm rolling, I'm going to get 1 die that's going to be average or decent, but I'm always guaranteed in a mess of dice I'm going to roll a 1, and kata just makes it actually worth something. So
even if you roll triple 1s, you at least are at 3 versus 0.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you roll all defense with this guy, you get defense
still
4.
Be a 4. Yeah.
So it's like, that's not too bad at all,
No, it's good.
So yeah, that's why he's 22. Clearly, even without the 4 melee, very good melee combatant. But now we're going to look at this one because he also gets all ninjas obviously get the 2 choices at the start of the activation. The melee boost 2 is what all Bleeding Moon get, but his personal one is tireless until his next activation. So it's like a half a tireless because you have to activate to use it. So you've already used one of your activations, so you can't just stand in the middle and be tireless. And if somebody goes before you, they can hit you and you don't have it. But I didn't want to put another full tireless model in the whole faction, to be honest, but especially not just in the house. So they got a half a tireless model. It's a very interesting way of playing him. You have to activate him at the right time in the turn, and then you have to sort of leave him until exactly the right time again. So he does take a lot of, I can't remember if it's he or she now, I think she does take a lot of practice to get it to work.
It does. Yeah.
And I don't think that card is on the wiki.
Possibly not yet. I don't know. I think this one might be out at Gen Con, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
We go.
I was thinking it was the other hook sword guy.
The other hook sword guy. Oh, I forgot. You guys have your special club.
No, isn't there the guy that came out with the tactical rock?
Oh, he has Kama. That's Shinyuki.
Oh, that's
right. Shinyuki.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking he had hooked swords, but it's the little scythe thing. So I was.
He's got the commies. Yeah, the kami point and kami edge.
I knew he was Bleeding Moon. That's why I was like, oh, I didn't know that guy did this the whole time.
Two feats on this one. Gain chain weapon 1. That's when you hook the 2 swords together and swing them around. That's just a decent weapon buff. Chain weapon, buying it is generally better than having it because you pay less rise for it overall because you have to pay for it with key. But you know not all models have parry, so you only have to buy it when you need it. But I think it's this that's going to be the defining feat for this model. He can basically hook onto one of your opponent's weapons, pin it off to one side, and they can't use it. So let's have a look at that. Before the enemy model chooses a weapon to use in a melee exchange, choose a weapon they have access to. For the rest of the current activation, replace that weapon on the enemy model's card with an unarmed -2 damage weapon with no specials and no rules. So you can walk into an enemy who's got reach, and you can say, "I'll hook your staff away. You don't get reach." Any sidestep, defense, or critical strike, or anything, they're not going to get it. And when they do hit you, they're at -2 damage.
Wow.
This is a really, it's actually a really powerful effect for a simple thing that it does.
Oh yeah, no, that's a huge thing. I mean, because you could, again, there's no restriction on it. So even when you get some of those big Oni that are coming in that are hitting with like +2, +3, you're -2. You're not using that. I'm pinning that Torii gate to your side, and you're not going to hit me with it.
There's a lot of things you can do with that. I mean, you think most of the top melee models in the game are in the position they are because of their weapon. You know, that's where you're going to have things like poison, bleed, critical strike, combo, powerful attack. You're getting none of those. There's one simple way around it, which is to just have a second weapon. He only gets to do it to one weapon. But yeah, it is really it's a really powerful ability. It works really well with his split attack as well, because if you put a lot of dice into defending the first attack in a split attack and then use that for the second one, you're not going to get hurt very much back. And you can, again, it's an activations thing. You can take multiple activations off people, knowing that, with your armor 1 and their -2, they're probably not going to hurt you.
Right. Yeah. It's like I said, it's now you don't fear going up against some of the big beaters. I mean, again, most of the Bleeding Moon ninjas, I'm not too worried about it, but for him, just to be able to negate that's kind of huge. I love it, and being able to engage 2 figures to do that, to strip the activations off and if he's playing in the theme, House of Bleeding, Bleeding Moon, House of Bleeding Moon, then he will have 3 activations, so he's going to come out ahead. Or he could be tireless, and again, there's just so many things you could do with it. I like it.
So yeah, he is expensive, but I think he's definitely worth it. There's one last ability there. Ninjas don't do a lot with death sentence at the moment. We're trying to get more for them as we go on.
Yay! Great. I don't want to let Brian hear that.
When any model removes a death sentence marker, this model gains an activation counter. So if you do have a death sentence out, they pay to remove it, you gain an extra activation.
So that'd be, that work. That means he's a viable choice for being put into assassination mission. Sure,
definitely.
Sure. My opponent wants to give me 3 activations on turn 2. Thank you very much, sir. I'll take them.
So yeah, that's the 4 that I've gone for.
Okay.
That's it. So Makoto, Katsumi, Rin, Nagato, which leaves me 12 rice for special cards.
And there's lots of cards you could get.
There are a lot. This is the next bit of death sentence that we're putting in for ninjas. We figured ninjas really should be the faction that uses them.
Makes sense.
They literally get paid to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 2-cost card, new contract, play in the starting phase. If no enemy models have a death sentence marker, choose 1 unique enemy model to gain a death sentence marker.
Oh, and it's a unique enemy, so that's even better. I like that. So that way you just can't throw it out willy-nilly on something. You're going to pick... Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, nobody's going to pay you to just kill an Ashigaru. They're going to pay you to kill Itsunagi. So.
Exactly.
That'll obviously combo with him, and this theme just wants to fight. So whoever gets it is going to be first target, and we're just gonna go in and fight them with extra activations. So
yeah,
that was one. I put in Herbal Remedy because the theme only works on undamaged ninjas. So I figure the first time you get bleed or fire or poison, at least you could get rid of it. Or is it if they're not using those, it's rare that you will have some state at some point during the game. So I think that's 1 rice that you're probably always going to get to use.
Yeah.
But in this one, I think it's a bit more useful just for the heal ability. It's not really a heal, but to stop taking damage because you want to remain undamaged.
Yeah, it's a good safety valve. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was this. I figured this would be similar to what you guys chose, so I just wrote them down. Smoke field, only 2 smoke bombs. Jigoku berry, 1 hidden Kusari. Hotai's coin for Katsumi, and a rice bale barricade.
Pretty standard. And again, hidden Kusari for when you have to knock that other model down. Hidden Kusari. And Chikoku berry is just, it's all kinds of gross anyway. So with combo attack, even better.
I think there's 3 models with combo attack in this. So one of them's going to get that.
Somebody's going to use it. Yeah. It's going to be bad.
And then I know you don't usually do this with the theme things, but I've put in an honorable mention because he is a Bleeding Moon. If you put him in the theme, he doesn't get 3 activations.
Okay.
Because he's not a ninja.
So we're looking at Neko right now, the new Bleeding Moon animal moon lion.
But what he does have is he's only 14 rice, so he frees up a lot of rice for you to either fit 4 ninjas and him, or just a lot more special cards, whatever it is that you need. He gains nothing from the theme whatsoever, but it turns out he doesn't really need anything. He's very self-contained. He does what he wants to do. There is a vengeance death sentence, with so you think about putting him in assassination, but with that special card as well, you could also just have him in the Bleeding Moon. So I think a lot of people have said that they probably won't play him in the theme because he doesn't get the activation. I think he's fine anyway. 14 rice is so cheap that you can have him and 4 ninjas and it will work fine.
Yeah, I could see him in the theme because everybody's going to be busy with something else. Yeah, you're not going to have the 3, but if you take that new card for 2 more rice, so figure he's a 16-point model, and that's still cheap. That's Ujimushi cost. But Vengeance death sentence, and there's always going to be a death sentence out at some point because you get if it goes away, you get to put it on somebody at the start phase. So yeah, I mean he's always going to be useful. So
he's fast.
Yeah, 6 speed. That is just awesome. For those who aren't familiar with Neko, because he was just kind of announced, 14 rice, Bleeding Moon animal, Moon Lion, 3 melee pool, not boostable, 6 movement, not boostable. There he is. He looks pretty cool too. I was gonna say, when you look at the 3D render of him, he's not cool, but when you see him an actual person and painted up, he's a much better looking model.
Yeah,
because with the 3D render they don't show the full 360 on it, so it's a much better effect. He has no ranged ability because he's an animal. He can't pick up a bow and shoot things or throw Kusari or Shuriken. Yay. 2-0. So if you're going to try to control him, it's going to be a 2 dice against. He has 2 melee attacks. One is Bite, which is +2 on the melee strength, so that's kind of vicious. Sidestep 0, powerful attack 1. And then he has Claws, which is melee strength +1. Sharp 2, combo 0, sidestep attack 0. And then he has a whole bunch of traits: aloof, assassin, camouflage 2, dodge 1, fear 5, jump up, light footed, lightning reflexes innate, yuck. 6th sense, steadfast, for those times where he just doesn't make that fear check. And then vengeance, as we said, vengeance death sentence. He's really cool. And then pounce is his unique effect. When this model benefits from cover relative to an enemy model and declare a charge or melee action against the enemy model, this enemy model is surprised. So that's kind of cool. And when this model would surprise an enemy model, it gains Bonsai. I think that alone, with the smoke bomb and something like that, you're going to be able to pull a surprise off, hopefully, or just with distraction. And between Death Sentence, Vengeance, and being able to charge something and just pay 1, that's going to be he's going to find his place, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and he's got 7 wound boxes.
Yeah, that's pretty boss. So I like him.
I do too.
Yeah, so I didn't put him in my list because I went for all the most expensive ninjas, but I think you can make a good 4 ninja plus him for a 5 models list with this theme.
Yeah, because I think you're right, because you're not this list. You want to have some extra tricks in there, but it's not relying on tricks like the other missions do. So having the 5 model, I see this being a very, very viable 5 model list.
Yeah,
or
I
this
think
theme, I should say.
That's the only way to do it, because I did think the first thing that we thought of when we wrote this was 15 activation sounds horrendous. Let's have a look at the ninjas. But the 5 cheapest models come out to 103. So it's almost like we planned it with Shin Yuki and the last one. I forgot already. Nagato. We made sure that they would cost more so that you couldn't get 5 in 100.
There you go. That works.
So yeah, that's. Let's just go back to the start if we can. Is there not a button to just go back to the start?
Yeah, I wish there was.
So yeah, that's the theme. Like I say, the main thing about this, I don't know if it's going to supplant Skirmish mission as being the go-to choice. I don't think it will, but it's definitely going to offer anybody who has the faction an entirely different way of playing.
Yes, I would agree. It's not your grandma's ninjas. It's something all new for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing it out there and then having it get tested before anybody starts saying, "Oh, it's not competitive. Oh, it's not this." You haven't tried it. The playtesters may have, but once you get it out into the general, you never know what tricks are going to crop up. The Bushido players are extremely smart and extremely devious. They're going to find something pretty quick, and then it's going to be really gross. Really, really gross.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right, so that was the Bleeding Moon. Did we want to talk quick about the other two factions, or is it getting kind of late there? I know it's got to be extremely late for you, to be honest.
It is late here, but I'm good for.
We could just buzz through them. We don't have to do lists for these, because these may not be at least the one we were talking about may not be as well known.
So,
I gotta do that. Hang on just a sec. There we go.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, people will have seen the first one. They may not have seen either of the others, but I can't imagine anybody didn't think we'd move on to these once we'd done the first one. So House North Star is coming.
There we go.
I haven't got the card for this printed up yet because it's technically still in playtest, but I'm pretty sure this is finalized. So.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing what we got here.
So I think this is the important part about this theme. So obviously you can have North Star ninjas, but the other part of it is Ronin models. For once, it does not say Ronin ninja models, just Ronin models.
Oh wow!
So currently that allows you to take 2 lone swordsmen, Kicho from the 2-player start set, and the Dark Pilgrim, all of whom will work for KZ.
That's awesome. Because I really like Kizomi Kichu. I really like her. She is cool. Huh.
So these are the benefits. So again, no pass tokens, so we wanted some activation shenanigans. So when a North Star ninja makes a damage roll and benefits from the assassin trait, the enemy model loses an activation counter. So that can be from ranged. It can be in melee, in which case you'll probably be taking both of their activation counters off them. Yeah. It works against tireless. So if you melee somebody who is tireless, they won't lose 1 for the melee exchange, but they will for this ability on the damage roll.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
So they can murder bulls easily.
Yes. Bye-bye, Kazu.
So that's going to be their thing to, none of these are going to have the double pass tokens. This is their thing to even that out. Second ability. While the turn number is odd, whenever a North Star ninja would choose one of its abilities at the start of its activation, instead choose up to 2 abilities. So I think I've got a thing for this. Yeah, this is this kind of thing. At the start of this model's activation, choose one of the following. When it's an odd turn, so 1, 3, 5 usually, you will get both of them. I know there's one North Star model that has 3 of those, so you'll get to choose 2 out of 3. The idea is that the North Star plan ahead, and they will combine their attacks when they're at their strongest and their enemies at the weakest. So you need to do the same thing. You need to go, right, it's turn 3. I need to use my models this turn because they're going to have double benefits.
Yeah. Huh. By the way, I was saying I wanted to kill Kazu and take his tireless away, and then I realized, oh wait, he's aware. Now I'm sad. That's okay.
You can still surprise aware models. They're not immune to surprise, only 6 senses. You just can't surprise them by going around the back. So you have to use an ability that says this model is surprised.
Got it. Okay.
So like Pounce or Dudiko's bow. If she shoots you at long range, you are surprised.
Back on the table. Yes.
So last one, and obviously this goes with the permitted models. Faction enhancement equipment cards can be attached to Ronin models as if they were ninja models. All the other requirements must be met. So you can get your ninja equipment stuff and put them on 2 lone swordsmen, and all the other Ronin models, which would also include Biku, who currently can't have KKZ faction enhancements because she's a Ronin. Same for Hiretsuna. So it helps them out a bit, but it also means you can put it on the other Ronin models where that's useful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Grappling hook, hallucinogen bomb, Makabishi, poison weapon, signaling flare, all of those could be decent on something. That is fun. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I like that one, especially because I could use the Ronin models. That'll be, and I'll be honest. Dark Pilgrim and Koichi from Kazumi from the 2-player starter. I really like that model a lot, and having it being able to then bring it in and get theme benefits with something that's going to be fun to do. So looking forward to trying that out for sure. Stealing some of Jason's ninjas, giving it a whirl. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
Right. And then you said that there's a third one, which I know we don't have prepared. So just
So Long Shadow, obviously, there were only 2 models for Long Shadow, so it's going to be a bit further off before we've got enough models to put a theme out.
So that's in the pipeline, in the works.
It is. But what I will tell you is that there's at least one theme benefit that is not on the theme card, and you can all ponder that as you wish.
Okay, we're gonna have to think about that one. All right, we'll throw it in the comments what you think it is, because I'm drawing a blank, but that's not unusual for me. Not unusual for me. Well, that's our theme list, and we got a lot in there today. We got 4 themes, 5 themes actually, and a lot, and learned all about the House North Star, the Bleeding Moon, saw what a bliss could be for it. So, Jason, Master Enos, we thank you so much for joining us. Really good to have you here. We hope that you have a safe trip coming over to Indianapolis next week. And
thanks for having me on. And I'm flying out Monday, like I say. So we've got Tuesday to enjoy the wonderful city of Indianapolis and all of its many sites.
Yes.
Before we start.
Many sites. I've done too many conferences in Indianapolis, but that's just me.
Good luck with your tournament Saturday, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's on Longshanks, so if anybody wants to follow it, it'll be on there, and I'm sure we'll get some pictures up. Alex is coming, who is the GCT social media guy, so I'm sure we'll get some pictures and maybe a report on the site or on social media.
That'll be awesome. Well, thanks again so much for coming. And for everybody who was listening and watching, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. We've been having some great guests come on, and this is probably, right up there with some of the top guests. So we're really very lucky to be able to have these people on, because they teach us something new every time, and hopefully everybody else learns something, or even if it's just learning some new information about what's coming down the pipeline. If you did like what you saw and heard, give us some comments. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you'd like to see. All that good stuff. Throw us a thumbs up on the YouTubes, so that way, we know that you're liking what you're seeing. And if you haven't already subscribed, once again, I'm not a really good salesperson as to tell you why you should subscribe, but at some point it will be worthwhile. I promise you.
That way you can see my stupidity at the beginning of the episode.
You do want to see that. You want to get that alert that Cody's going to do some kind of dumb, and I'm waiting for him to do an entry dance or something like that, like they used to have on some of the Drew Carey shows and something like that. We'll have to make an elaborate dance scene.
I'm just waiting for my chair to break when I'm trying to spin or something, and
you fall off.
Yeah,
that might happen too. Who knows? You never know until you tune on to Gaming with the Guys, especially when we're doing our Bungles after. Or I might be not actually recording this right now. Who knows? We just wasted all this time. No, I'm recording. Trust me.
That'd be sad.
Anyway, thank you again so much for listening and watching, and we'll catch you again sometime soon. Until that time, have a great day or evening, wherever you may be.
Because it's me making a list.
Checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice.
Exactly.
You're always naughty, Cody. We know that.
Always.
It's okay.
Always.
All right.